Welcome to the Modern Day Exorcists. My name is Deva. This is Keslie, and we have a very special guest here today. And we've got some exciting things on the docket. But before we get started, we are going to ask for you to consider hitting that subscribe button and help us grow because our goal is to help you and to help those out there. Let's start off, Keslie, by introducing our guest. And I'll leave this to you because he's got a very special connection to you.
This, everybody, is my amazing boyfriend, Dorje, or Jason. He's got two names. He goes by Dorje. And we are going to do a clearing on his band. So he's got an amazing band. My daughter is actually the lead singer in it. So I happen to be the biggest fan, but that was before I fell in love with you. I loved your music first. It was very awesome. We're going to let Deva actually lead a little bit because, as I've mentioned before, and you'll hear me say again, I'm a knower. And if I know something and something comes through, I'll discard the thing that came through I'm like, nope, it's already there. So I can't trust a lot of the things that I get. I'll be adding in and emphasizing and sharing anything I pick up, but we're going to let Deva lead this so that I don't get clouded and misinformation.
Has somebody recently was part of the band and left?
That's been an ongoing issue with the band. It's actually one of the biggest problems with the band is people coming and going. I've gone through three bassists. I'm on my fourth right now. Four drummers. I'm looking for my fifth. Five singers, and Kieran's my sixth. And my most recent drummer was with us for most of the time. He was actually really solid, and I didn't have any idea that he was going to leave. And yeah.
Okay, because here's what I'm getting. Somebody at the beginning left, and was there a parting of ways that wasn't so amicable? There was some hostility or something there? Because that person has left a trail of negativity, which is what's causing this void. The people are coming in and feeling that uncomfortableness and leaving. And that's what we need to clear. There's some residue from something that's not amicable in their parting.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a couple. And I think the worst was Billy, the bassist, when he left. And I'm gonna actually, is it all right if I ask Keslie? I know Keslie,
Yeah.
it might be she was with me through a lot of this, so she knows a lot of the history. But she was there when Billy left, and that was the worst. And it wasn't even all that terrible. It was just
It leaves you keep getting left in a really shitty position is what's
right,
happening is you've had people bail when there's gigs to play and then you've been canceling gigs, right? You've had
right,
to
right.
cancel them because people leave, which doesn't give you a good reputation around town.
Exactly. So that was probably worse because we did have to cancel a gig at a place that we regulared. It was embarrassing and unprofessional, and that was definitely the worst. The second bassist, when he left, he just ghosted. A complicated situation because I don't know how much we want to go into this publicly, but let's just say it was complicated.
So there was some ego involved. And so there was a parting of ways, this divide that created this ripple effect that has since plagued you, stayed with you. Anybody who comes in, like this rotating door, they come in and leave, or somebody leaves. What we need to do is we need to clear that foundation
Right.
and we need to clear that residue so that people come and they stay. And I think what's happening is they're not even recognizing that it is a feeling that's making them feel uncomfortable or feel like they don't belong. It's whatever this residue that's left over.
And I'm not sure if I should mention this or not, but there were problems from the beginning, unfortunately. Our very first rehearsal was during Mercury retrograde, which I know is a terrible idea. I know not to do those things, and I usually don't. But I was impatient and I just went with it. And then 3 weeks later was the first lockdown of COVID. All the rehearsal studios closed for 3 months, and then we couldn't have our second rehearsal. And then at our second rehearsal, our first drummer left. And then it was a couple months, so we found another drummer who we only had one rehearsal with. But I feel like this whole project has been cursed. I've said that before, and I don't know. When I first said it, I was joking, but with so many things that went wrong, it does seem like there's something energetically that's messed up. And I should also mention that the band has been incredibly blessed at the same time. The project, we've put out two amazing albums. Innermost Seer was the first album, and Heretical Daydream was the second album.
Yeah, totally.
The band is called Arcane Lullaby. So we came out with two albums. Our first album had two different singers, two main lead singers were our first singer. They started with the band. There was those two singers. And we had a third singer come in just for one little part. And then that incarnation, the band broke up before we recorded the first album and right before we were about to record. And there weren't hard feelings with anybody who was involved with the album. The bassist kind of disappeared, but so I played bass. But the singers, although one of them had quit a while ago because she was too busy, the other one was going through all kinds of health issues. Um, so there was nothing wrong with that. But the band had basically dissolved, but I decided we have all this music that was written and was ready, and we were about to go to the studio. So me and the drummer got together and did the basic tracking. And I had the singers come here slowly and work at their own pace, and we put together an amazing album for the first album. But then I knew I needed to find a new singer, and then I needed a bassist. We finally found a good singer, had some really good gigs. We're writing new music. There are things were really like up and down. So it's hard to get started, and then things it started going really good. And got gigs and playing, and then the band dissolved, and then we put out an album, and then the looking for new members and having gigs, and then lost the members again. The band basically broke up right before we were about to record our second album, but we recorded it anyway. Came out with an album that we're very happy with. It was very good. So it's not totally cursed, right? It's like it seems like it's cursed a little bit, like or
There
there's
is a veil on it during the forward motion. Now I just noticed it's the letter V. What does the letter V have to do with anything?
let me think. I'm trying to think of whose name has a V in it.
This would be significant.
Going through everybody's names.
Did somebody leave? Again, it's ego coming into play. Was it somebody who left because they felt they weren't being heard or listened to, and they thought they had better ideas? It wasn't they
Yes,
trying to take over.
that was one person. Huh? Two, oh, yeah. Should we say their names or does it?
Sure. I mean, we can always edit it out if we need to.
Right. One of the singers, right?
Yeah, the
Oh,
drummer.
actually both. Oh, and the drummer, yeah.
I guess it was
And the drummer, yeah.
left for creative differences because
Yeah.
they had their own idea and they weren't getting heard the way they wanted. They wanted
Okay.
to collaborate and
They also weren't communicating clearly either, which was, and then I think part of it was because they weren't communicating their needs clearly, it reflected as that it was me, right? I feel like part of that might have been that I was scapegoated for their own lack of communication skills.
oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm getting that ickiness that's left behind is
Yeah,
almost like they cursed you because in their mind they could have made you better. That's what they were thinking. And
yeah,
they left with a, if you're not going to let me do my thing, good luck. That sarcastic, it's never going to take off. And I almost feel like they've thrown this veil on it that even on a subconscious level, it's hindering the forward motion of what could be because we got to clear the shit they left behind,
yeah.
essentially.
I'm getting something,
I,
and this is I've been getting it, but I don't
uh-huh,
know if I'm because I know it.
right.
But look into his family stuff.
Family
Okay.
stuff? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. My family stuff? Also, feel like Billy, I felt when Billy the bassist left, when that most recent bassist left, he was the only person I really felt had like negative energy directed at me was him. and I've been curious. And he plays he plays a lot around here like every week, so he has his. I wouldn't put it past him to badmouth me to
Okay. So,
locals.
because that's the sense that I'm getting is that somebody has left and they weren't happy, and it's almost like they can't let it go. And in doing that, they're casting this veil of negativity on you. And so this
Right,
is
right.
where we need to cleanse that. We need
Yeah,
to clear that.
good.
And we need to put a protection around it so that his shit can't come at you anymore.
Right, right. And what about the family stuff? What are you
Well,
thinking?
one thing when you were talking about how it's up and down,
Yeah.
your parents had very similar experiences.
Yes. Right. I've had this feeling that this might be part of an ancestral curse because both of my parents had their entire lives roller coaster kind of thing where neither of them were successful. They had successes and failures, but they never had investments or retirements or felt like they made it and were always struggling when something would look like it was coming good and it would crash down. Neither my mother nor father have been financially successful.
But your
My,
dad certainly
my
was for a time.
my dad, when he was younger,
And then he got his inheritance. He wasn't smart with it.
neither was anyone in the
Right.
family.
Anytime there's success, there's always a fall.
Right.
So do you even have experience of success without there being a big crash at the end?
Not personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that needs to be looked at too.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this thread of fear
Yeah.
that's been passed. It's almost like a torch that's been passed, right? And
But
fear is protection, or so they thought, when really, what's it protecting?
right. I should also mention though that my mom and dad and me are all dreamers and like super optimists too. An optimism where there shouldn't be even unreasonable optimism, which I think is a good thing because it keeps us going. But yeah, probably there's some fear behind that as well because no matter how much optimism, things never end up going great.
Well, and we can have both, right?
Right.
We
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
hugely optimistic, but there's something holding us back. And that's something Kesley and I had to clear for ourselves the other day as well, because we are incredibly positive people, despite what we've dealt with and the traumas we've dealt with. So you can have both. And if your family line is accustomed to these highs and lows, when there is any financial success, the expectation is, because what has always been, is it will disappear.
Yeah.
And even if on a subconscious level, right, you're not consciously thinking, oh, we have it, but it's going to go,
Right.
right? Oftentimes it's that subconscious fear because that's the pattern passed down from person to person in your ancestry.
Right. Right.
That's what you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think that's something we need to address and to clear as well, because I think that's working with you on the subconscious level,
Yeah.
right? It's having one foot in and out of the door, which
Right.
is essentially what's happened with the band.
There's
Yeah.
also a sense of hesitation to actually get it to the good place because it's just going to fail anyway.
Right. It's avoiding that, what you think will be the down. If you get the high, then for sure there's going to be a down, right? And so it's almost, let's avoid the high because I can't deal with the down, even though that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
And so it's becoming this self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. And there's been many times where I was this close to calling it quits, being this isn't working, do something else. But the band started with a dream in fall 2018 that lit a fire inside of me that hasn't stopped. And that's what's kept me going all along. And the first year was just me having ideas. Like, I only wrote a couple songs, but then there was almost a year and several months, year and a half almost before I even formed a band. I had people and actually started. But at the beginning, it was right away. It was like one rehearsal and then COVID hit. And then it was like all those obstacles.
Here's the visual I'm getting with this.
Yeah.
And this might paint a clearer picture. You're stoking the fire, right?
Yes.
You know how to build a fire. You've put the wood in, you've lit it, you know how to stoke it. But it means absolutely nothing if the flue isn't open and the chimney's not clean. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's what we're here for.
Great.
We're here to open the flue and we're the chimney sweeps, right? Because we
That's
got to
great.
get the shit out of there so that you've got this free flow happening because you're doing all the right things, but we've got to make the vessel of it.
Yes.
I say vessel, and
Right.
I'm confusing a lot of people at the moment, but
Just metaphorically speaking.
metaphorically,
Right.
yes,
Right. I get it.
metaphorical vessel.
Yes.
We got to give it a clean, right? We've got to clean that out, and we've got to make sure that it's oxygenated.
Yes. Great.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
You're like, let's go. Yeah, it's almost like soot, and right, and it's centuries of it. This buildup that has happened.
Some of it's in your DNA too. This was just but right now there's solar flares this week are raging, and they are supposed to be holding, there's some of the highest energy light that we've ever experienced.
Wow.
And they are saying it's going to unlock things in our DNA. So the fact that this is all happening, and I'm like, your DNA is involved, I think it's prime time.
Yeah.
Good.
Perfect time. So I'm really experiencing it as a circle rather than the cube that we saw ours as. It's a very round energy that is containing.
Whereas I see it as a chimney.
I think it's round with a chimney.
Yeah.
Round with the chimney.
Yeah, but there's the soot's all over the inside and the outside.
We got to get that smoke burning white. Right now it's burning black.
Okay.
Great.
We've got to purify that, is the sense I'm getting.
This team is coming in.
Yeah.
Keep up with the Gaysar practice.
Yes. Yes. I just felt right when you said the team is coming in, I felt like I'm still feeling actually chills going through my body.
Yeah.
They're checking
let it happen.
Roll call.
Yeah.
It's an easy fix.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to surrender.
There's something to do with when you look out through this, there's like a fisheye effect, and it's distorting the way that you're seeing what the world can bring.
I was going to light some Palo Santo,
Yeah.
but I don't have fire.
Oh.
Should I have some in the other room? Should I do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll go get it.
I found my Palo Santo, and for those who don't know, I've just moved countries. So I'm still unpacking, and I do not have a lighter at all. So I need to put that on my...
I'm going to light some too. Palo Santo is a great purifying tool. You don't even need to light it, but lighting it just ups the power.
Yes.
I got some too. We're going to do it on all levels here. I'm going to do the outside and you're going to do the inside.
Okay.
As you're doing it, imagine all that soot coming off, that smoke turning white. Deva, anything else we should be doing?
I'm just asking that now. It's funny because the visual I'm getting is, it's almost, you know, when something sticks on a Tupperware and you grab it and it peels off all in one go. That's what's happening, right? It's all just
Awesome.
lifting off. It's very satisfying. I wish I could show the visual I'm getting.
I'm feeling this around, just around this, like my crown of my head. It's like it wants to separate.
Let it separate.
Yeah, open it. That's your third eye energy coming out.
That's clearing the shit away that was in there. So I'm getting that there needs to be a shift up and down, doesn't have to mean the highest and the lowest. You can have waves. Everything's going to come with a wave, like the
Yeah.
middle wave, right? Focus
Yes.
on the middle wave that it can
Not
just
the extreme wave.
Exactly. Exactly.
Focus on gratitude.
Yeah, instead of the what you have, what it hasn't had, what it has had.
It's true.
Yeah, good call.
Focus on gratitude and welcome more of the same.
Yes. And I'm extremely grateful for right now. I have this amazing singer and a bassist who's really good, and they both have really good energy. I'm feeling really positive about it. I think we just need a drummer and who's a right fit and has the right energy.
They're on their way to you. There's
Awesome.
confirmation. They're on their way to you. And you'll know it'll feel right.
Awesome.
Like soon. You're going to find them in a by chance kind of way. Right person, right timing, right event, said the right thing, opened the door to the conversation, and boom, you found them.
That sounds really good.
When you least expect it, just came through too.
Yeah, not while looking. It's going to happen very organically.
Great. Right now, I feel soot's coming out of the bottom of my feet.
Mm-hmm. That's where they're cleaning right now. They've done the top.
Getting much bigger. Ooh. It went from like the size of a volleyball to the size of a beach ball.
The chimney is also opened up. It's a wider space.
Yeah.
Dorje, you need to breathe it in. You need to connect with the energy that's there in the fire that you're stoking. You need to connect with the energy that we've cleared.
Okay.
And I've put a ring of protection around it, sealing it in.
Feeling a lot of that gratitude right now.
Dorje, I want you to imagine
Hmm.
this golden white light coming down
Hmm.
through your head,
Hmm.
filling your body, radiating out through every pore as it hits every part of your body,
Yes.
as it heads down and reaches your feet. I want you to connect back into the fire I want that golden energy to connect to that
Mm.
fire.
Mm.
And that fire will billow the smoke up, which will turn into the golden light, which will come back down in through your head and circulate.
Mm. Got it.
You are one with all you create, and what you create is one with you. You are divinely guided in the music that you're creating, in the good that you're putting out into the world. And you need to see the connection of that divine guidance.
Mm. Yes.
They're showing me a path of gold, like the yellow brick road is what I'm seeing now in front of you. You just have to be brave enough to walk it.
Great. Mm.
I just saw you. I saw you walking the yellow brick road with the band in a giant balloon. You're just pulling it along, but it's way flying high. Just
Oh,
up
good.
there. Mm,
I definitely feel like there's already a shift, a big shift, so many shifts.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean, even just physically in myself, but also I feel the shift in this vessel of the band too. And I
Yeah.
almost feel like I saw somebody, a drummer, like coming with this just really positive energy and just all the right stuff. I'm definitely feeling gratitude and optimism again.
Yeah. It's all coming together. Whenever there's that feeling of doubt, reconnect to that golden light and create
Mm.
that circle again.
Mm. Thank you so much. I I'm really grateful for your help. And it's my intention, and always has been, that the music that I create bring benefit to the people that hear it and connect with it, and that they connect with the lyrics, and that it touches them in a positive way, and that the music itself that brings them peace and happiness and meaning and uplifting the lives of everybody who hears the music. That's always been my intention, but I think also that's part of that golden light connection from the inspiration, and I think that's the why, and that because of that why, it has to keep going. It has to happen.
Here to channel, they're going to work through you.
Okay.
We're opening that up for you. It's already been divinely guided, but
Yeah.
they now want to work through you.
Great.
I'm getting a similar, I had this with somebody else before where the project that they were doing, I was like, would you stop making this your project? It's not about you. It's a
Mhm.
vessel, it's a project that needs to happen. If it wasn't you, it would be somebody else. You're having an opportunity to allow it through you. So that
Right.
kind of thing, like think of it
Yeah.
as a privilege to get to have it pour out
Yes.
rather
Yes.
than this is my thing that I have, like your ego. You don't have much of, but just the last. There's also forgiving yourself and your ancestors, all of them, for
Mm.
any judgment that you gave them. Like anytime you've looked up down on them for having not enough success,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Any of that can, if you're still holding that, then you're holding that against yourself as well. And it's just not bringing anything positive.
Yes. Good point. Yeah.
So like forgiving their failures.
Right. And also admiring their ability to dream.
Yeah. And to have successes because they had some good successes. Some people in life never have those successes and they always just stay status quo. And your parents
I'm
did,
going to say it's not easy for people to dream.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they did important work too.
Yes. Yes. For sure. For
So
sure.
yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's neat things coming down the pipeline for you.
Great.
Coming down the chimney.
Coming down the chimney. Ho ho. Now that's some Christmas magic.
Right. I hope I get my 2 front teeth.
I hope I get my 2 molars.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I feel a shift already, and I'm looking forward to what the universe is going to bring and what the next chapter is going to be. It's exciting.
Yes. And we'll do a follow-up with you in a month to 2 months to see what
Yeah.
shifts have taken place externally.
Yeah. Awesome.
How this has changed everything.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming today, honey. I
Thank
appreciate
you
that.
so much for your generosity and blessings. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of your belief in me is a big part of why we're feeling brave enough to go crazy with this.
Great.
So thank you.
Of course.
I get the sense there's big things coming for you, Dorje.
Thank you so much, Deva.
Yeah, like it not just shifts, there's a huge impact you're meant to have.
Mm.
And it's going to work through you. Spirit is working through you.
Yeah.
So I'm actually getting a little emotional receiving that message and passing that along because it just feels bigger than us.
Great. Very good. Awesome.
And I don't say that to everybody.
No, she doesn't.
Wow. Thank you so much. I'm feeling the blessings.
Yes, and thank you, Deva, for facilitating because I'm too close.
Yeah, and that's
that's
a good
why.
thing to talk to people about too, is when we are closely related. That's why people always say, oh, if you're so psychic, why don't you win the lottery? It doesn't work that way, right? We're our own worst clients.
Well, that, and it's usually because that's not for the benefit of all people. It's not, this isn't a tool that we have for our benefit, a tool we have to benefit others.
Mm.
And I to somebody just recently, that's why psychic mediums have other psychic medium friends. Because we go to each other and go, okay, are you getting anything on this?
Yeah, what am I missing?
I can't make sense of this, right? It happens to us all the time. And same with reading when somebody close to us dies. There was the incident with your cousin, Keslie, right? You were too close to be able to do a valid reading. Whereas I knew nothing of your cousin, and I went in with fresh eyes and communicated just as a way to explain to people.
Right.
It's not uncommon for us to go outside of ourselves to receive validation, receive guidance, receive messages and that help, because sometimes we block ourselves.
Right. And every little piece can help. I think the general public, this is a generalization, obviously, but a lot of people have this misconception that psychics are omniscient. It's not that. Being a psychic doesn't mean you know everything there is to know. It means you get pieces of information that other people aren't getting. You're not getting the whole entire picture all the time. You're
No,
getting what's needed at the time for the situation, or sometimes things come to you, but it's not people like you said, if you're psychic, what you win the lottery, it's not like that. It's a different.
if only it worked that way. And the thing is we get images, we get messages, we get little hits of things, and we've got to try and make sense of it. And when it doesn't belong to us, that can be even more confusing.
Yeah.
Right? That's why we need to use our clients or who we're reading to try and make sense of whatever is coming through, because it makes no sense to us. We just have to trust that it's meant to be shared and we figure it out.
It just hit me. One of the people involved in my band does have a V in their first part of their last name. Keslie, you know what I'm talking about now?
Mm-mm.
Mark.
Oh, he's a part of the band.
He is part of the band. He's always been so supportive. I'm not sure what that. So when you got that letter V, what was it? What was the feeling?
It was just, honestly, I was doodling as we were talking and I was getting hits, and I
Uh-huh.
wondered what the V meant, because I was like, oh, I'm not just doodling, I've just written out a V, and a scripture V, like not a, so it could also mean 5, right? It could also
Oh,
be a
right.
numeral because of it had the little
Right.
tails on it.
Mark Viner he's one of my best friends in the world. We were in bands together. Long story short, he's been one of the biggest supporters of the band. He helped get our first singles out, which helped us get our first real drummer. He did the drums and the production of the first 2 singles, which really helped us establish what we needed at the time. And he was the producer, a co-producer on both of the albums. He's been a tremendous support for me. So maybe that V, if it does relate to him, maybe that might mean there's some more, I could lean on him some more maybe for help.
Well, it seemed important enough that I drew it out, and that's why I was asking what significance of the V would be. So in you making that connection, trust that instinct.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you both for being here, Deva for facilitating, and my honey for trusting us.
Of course, and thank
And
you so much for the clearing. I feel so.
Thanks for being our guinea pig.
Yay!
yes. And we'll see you guys next.
And send this to who you think find it interesting or helpful.
Yes. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in. I would be forever grateful if you hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when more videos drop.